Today I just wanted to show off one of the cool things that you can do with the Boss DD-500, and that's emulate analog delays that have pitch shifting capabilities, kind of like the Chase Bliss thermae. So let's give that a listen really quick before we get started. And I'm just feeding it a signal from my Korg mini log off screen here, so that's what we're going to be using for the audio signal. So let's get started with that. I'm going to bank down here and start a new bank, have an empty patch here, and we're going to switch it to analog mode. And I'm going to go into edit here and into patch. The first thing we're going to do is set up the initial analog patch. Go to stage. Now what stage does is it lets you set how many bucket brigade devices are being emulated, and I like to set it to 4. Each device gives you 300 milliseconds of repeats, and each additional gives you another 300 and so on. The other thing it does is it darkens up the repeats, gives you a little more noise like it would in a real circuit. So analog delays that generally have more bucket brigade devices in them become a little noisier because you get degradation across the line. There's some other things that cause that to happen as well, longer delay times, for example. So yeah, I just like it on 4, even if we're not going to use the full 1.2 seconds of delay time that it gives you. So it's pretty cool. So after we have that set, we're going to switch it up here just to make sure that it's in time so I can figure out what time we're in. So 300 milliseconds, so let's listen. Alright, we're going to want to turn up the effect value. Let's change the level to about 100. Let's set the feedback up a little bit. I like to set it around the 60s. I also like to set the tone down to around 30 or so we have really dark repeats. I also like to add some modulation, so I'm going to add modulation to around 60 or so. Kind of add some nice warble to it, a little bit more warmth. Now let's go to the edit menu again, and here's where all the magic happens, is in this assign menu. We're going to go up to the top here and set one of the assign switches to on. And we're going to set the source to a wave pedal, and what a wave pedal is just effectively a low frequency oscillator that lets you change a value. We're going to set the trigger to be the note. Then we're going to change the minimum note here. Change it to here. Let me see. Oh, that'll do. And then just keep the max on that note value. And one of the settings that we can change here is the wave RT, which is the rise time, I believe. And you can keep it on saw. It doesn't really matter in this case. It's actually acting as a square wave. It's just acting as an on-off because there's no intermediary steps. So let's listen to that now. It's starting to sound pretty cool. We can experiment with the type of note subdivisions we have here. We can also change the time a little. Let's go ahead and listen to it at 60 there on the rise time. Can even go a little faster. Create some pretty cool patterns that way. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Later on I might make a video on how to make that into a stereo patch where you can have left and right as 2 separate delays that just work out pretty nicely. If you just want to do a quick stereo thing, if you have the newest firmware, you can just go to patch here and find where it has the mod settings and change the mod mode to biphase. If you're listening to this on headphones or stereo, you should be able to hear the stereo image here. So yeah, I hope that helps somebody out. It's pretty cool. It's one of the powerful features that you can do with the DD-500 without using kind of any external capability. I mean, this is even MIDI capable, so if you had some kind of MIDI external source, you could potentially control this as well from a MIDI clock and cool things like that. But yeah, so again, hope that helps somebody out, and I hope you enjoyed this video.